What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be making some grain spawn using oats. Right now I'm getting what I think is close to about 2 gallons of water to a rolling boil. Once that's boiling all the way, we'll shut the heat off, and then I'll get back to you guys when it's time to add our grain. Alright, so this is 4 pounds of oats. Taking our pot off the heat. All we're gonna do is add this. Don't worry about the floaties or anything. Just let it go. I think I can actually add one more of those, so I'm gonna try to make this 8 pounds. And then we'll close the lid up and wait for 45 minutes. Okay, so we got about 3.5 more pounds here. I'm gonna pour in as much as I can. Whatever's left, I'll put back in the bag. These oats, I got at Tractor Supply. You can get literally 50 pounds for like $16, I think. And this has a higher nutrition content than most. It's smaller than popcorn. It's not as small as millet, so it doesn't have as much surface area as millet. But the price, the availability, and just for what it is, $16 for 50 pounds is pretty awesome. I think this is gonna be my main grain that I use for now on. Anyway, let's pour this in the pot and then close it up. Spoon. Now there's gonna be some floaties, like I said, not a big deal. When we toss it in the bags and then pressure cook it, anything that might hold contamination obviously is gonna get killed anyway, so the floaties aren't that big of a deal. I tried wild bird seed the other day, never again, never again. There we go. Close it up. From this point, we're waiting about 45 minutes. There's no need to go over that. And there's no need to stay under that because you want to make sure you have the right hydration point. If you were to just throw your grain into boiling water, it would start to burst, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you want to stay away from it if possible. Okay, so I'll get back to you guys in 45 minutes where we'll let it steam dry on some plastic outside. Alright guys, so we're outside now. I'm gonna wipe this down with alcohol, and then I'm gonna go get the grain and strain it and then put it out here to steam dry. If you guys know where to get alcohol online, let me know, because your boy is almost out and I'm sure most of y'all are too. And if you do have it, be sparing, because not everybody can get it right now. A little bit goes a long way. Let's get the oats and strain them. Right now, all I'm doing is putting the grain in a colander and shaking it to get any drops out. It's not dripping that much, so what I'm gonna do is spread it out on this as thin layer as possible and let it dry, and I'll keep adding it until I'm out. After that, I'll probably come out and mix it once or twice to get whatever on the bottom on the top to dry. But just watch it. Don't let it get too dry because you don't want to have to re-soak it. I'm just spreading everything out real quick. So there's no moisture held under the bottom. Alright, I'll get back to you guys when this is dry and we'll start making our bags. All right, guys, we got our spawn bags. I ordered these by accident. I meant to buy substrate bags, but I'm gonna use these anyway. Last night I ordered my spawn bags, substrate bags. So it'll be like 4 more days till I get those, and we'll be inoculating some oyster blocks. Anyway, this grain is pretty much perfect. There's not a lot of moisture on it, and for whatever reason, oats, if you have a little bit of extra moisture, it'll soak it up pretty well. Popcorn won't do that. Neither will birdseed, really. That's why I love this grain. But we're gonna grab our bag, and I think we're gonna see if we can go for 3 pounds of spawn each bag. For grain, I have my scale out here. That's 2 pounds. We might do 2.5. Let's do 2.5. These folded up. And I still have grain to dry, but we'll leave these sitting over here. All right, guys, we ended up getting 6 2.5 pound grain bags out of that. What we're gonna do now is we filled our pressure cooker up with about 2 inches of water, and we've put 1/2 pint jars in the bottom. Then we're gonna take our grate, set it on top, and load it up. Now, one thing I wanna say to you guys is, if you have a big pressure cooker like this, fill it up. It leaks a little bit in the beginning, but once it reaches pressure, the seal swells up and it won't leak anymore. That might not be everybody's, but mine at least. Either way, if you run out of water in one of these pressure cookers, you're going to melt your bags and ruin all the work you just did. So make sure to put enough water in it, and come check on it every little bit to make sure you can hear water moving at the bottom, because or also if steam's coming out the top, simply because you will melt your bags and blow up jars. Okay, so the very last precautionary thing I do to ensure no contamination, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I recommend it, just because if you're new to making your own grain spawn and doing mushrooms, the first couple times you contaminate something, you're going to get sick of it, and you're going to want to take an extra precaution, an extra 5 minutes to avoid, possible loss of all of your work. Is worth it, in my opinion. So I'm just trying to, again, be sparing as possible. A little bit of alcohol on a rag. Open the gussets of the bag, and I put my hand in front of the bag to use it as a wall. It's white, which helps a little bit. And of course the alcohol evaporates. This basically takes anything that got stuck to the side of the bag while we're dumping the grain in and stuff, and wipes it down with alcohol. I don't like stuff like this. I don't know if you can see it. yeah, stuff like that, just sticking to the bag. You guys get the idea though. So I'll catch you when we load up the sterilizer, the pressure cooker. All right, guys. So that was pretty good timing. It's raining outside now. You can see how dark the sky is. So really good timing with the grain spawn. I would have been pretty mad if I went out there to check on them and they were getting dumped on. So got my pressure cooker loaded up. I'm gonna put a grate on top just in case they swell. That keeps the pressure ports clear on the lid of the pressure cooker. I'm gonna let this go for about 20 minutes until it's at a rolling boil. Then I'll put the lid on top. And once I see steam coming out of the pressure port, I'll put the weight on top of it. And when it starts shaking, that's pretty much when you start the timer for an hour and a half. Some people do 2 hours, but an hour and a half does it. Especially if you do what I do and you leave the pressure cooker closed overnight and let it cool down. So anyway, we'll get back to you guys when it's doing its thing. All right, guys, so it is actually the next morning. Last night, I let the pressure cooker run for an hour and a half, turned the heat off, and then brought it in the garage to cool overnight. They've obviously cooled off, cool to the touch. You can tell that they vacuumed closed a little bit, which is normal. It's what you want. It just means your pressure cooker reached pressure. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, if you got something from it, consider subscribing, hanging around. I plan on doing more of these videos. But if you did stop by to watch this one, thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.